The migrant crackdown is coming as the battle over birthright citizenship is ongoing, with more than 20 states now suing the Trump administration to block the president's executive order on this. From coast to coast, attorney generals and civil rights groups are challenging Trump's attempt to roll back citizenship of children born in the U.S. if their parents are not here legally. On Monday night, Trump ordered federal agencies to refuse to recognize birthright citizens starting next month, something that advocates say is unconstitutional and goes directly against the 14th Amendment that states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Charles Kuck is with us, immigration lawyer and law professor at Emory University. Is there any way this doesn't go before the Supreme Court?
Actually, I'm not sure this will reach the Supreme Court. In order to get to the Supreme Court, you have to get 4 justices that want to hear this case. This is well-settled law for well over 125 years about the meaning of subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And in fact, that phrase was much discussed during the time of the 14th Amendment and had been subject to other court cases in our own federal courts prior to that. And it clearly meant people born in the United States. That's it. It doesn't have any other disclaimers other than diplomats. So I actually am not convinced the Supreme Court will take this case. But I do believe we will see injunctions on this within a matter of a couple of days. There's a hearing scheduled for tomorrow morning in one of the first cases filed. I think that's in Massachusetts. And I think we're going to see a very quick injunction in this case, putting a stop to what is, I think, a clear violation of the Constitution.
Does it make a difference, Charles, if one of the parents is a U.S. citizen or if both are not U.S. citizens? Is there any nuance to this?
Well, actually, this is as broad a base prohibition to receive U.S. citizenship as has ever been tried by any United States president. And it even includes people who are legally in the United States on visas. So let's say you're working under an H-1B visa at a tech company. Your child born here under this executive order would not be a U.S. citizen. So it's not just the children of undocumented people. But it appears that it's very broad. And we also have, and people don't know this, very particular provisions for citizenship depending on whether it's your mother or whether was it your father, when you were born in the United States. But generally speaking, if either of your parents are United States citizens, you are a United States citizen almost where you're born anywhere in the world.
Speaking of the world, I mean, how does birthright citizenship in the U.S. compare to what other nations do?
A lot of Western nations have birthright citizenship, including virtually all of Europe and our allies like Canada and others around the world. But there are a number of countries that don't recognize birthright citizenship, countries like Saudi Arabia, which has, for example, 1 million Palestinians that were born there that aren't Saudi citizens, creating a real double class of people inside the United States. This actually is a kind of a dangerous provision to look at. And there was a reason our founders and those that wrote the 14th Amendment, besides getting rid of slavery and recognizing citizenship for former slaves, put this in. And that's because this is a country of equality. This is a country that recognizes that anybody born here is tied to this country, and they should be able to receive all the benefits of that.
A lot of folks are nervous about some of these new policies going into place. Should they fear this one at all, Charles?
I don't think this is one they have to fear. I think it will be struck down by the courts very quickly. And even if it does make it to the Supreme Court, I cannot imagine there are 5 justices that would agree to this interpretation of that particular clause in the 14th Amendment.
All right. Appreciate your insight. Charles Kuck, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.